Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. My name is Lauren Stauffer, and this is my Playing with Food Sensory-Based Learning Centers. So the topic this week is nutrition, and so the first slide is a brief overview of my lesson that I'll be covering this week. The first picture will be our worksheet activity. The second is creating a food rainbow. The third is our main multisensory activity where students get to explore and experience fruits and vegetables in the bowls provided. And last is going to be our class reading, Let's Eat by Libby Caponen. In the beginning of the lesson, I will have already set the centers and sent each group of the students to one of the three centers. Some key points to sensory-based learning is engaging learning through the five senses, exploring new things through exposure, creating a positive environment where students are actively engaged in learning, and learning through multiple pathways such as cognitive and motor can help students to more easily retrieve information. Sensory learning helps to build strong connections to language and literacy skills, social and emotional skills, physical and cognitive skills. The physical domain will be met through each of the rotating centers. Through the rainbow chart, the students will be able to refine many fine motor skills through cutting, coloring, gluing the fruits and vegetables onto their group rainbow chart. The bowl of fruits and veggies will be a mix of cut up and whole fruits for students to manipulate and explore through the five senses. The cognitive domain will be met through the discussion or creative cooperative construction, where students will describe the fruits and vegetables experience to their fellow group members. I will be able to listen in on the groups and say how the discussion is going. You can also ask open-ended questions to each of the groups about what they see, feel, or notice, and be sure not to ask if they like or dislike anything, as it will create a thumbs up or down mentality that is hard to break. The social domain will be met through cooperative construction or working together, discussion and decision-making when creating the rainbow food charts. Students will be able to converse with their fellow group members to come up with a decision, designate jobs where one colors or cuts out a section of the printouts, and it becomes like a mini group project that allows students to become more familiar with their peers and how to work in a group dynamic. The emotional domain will be met through allowing students their own space to work in, allowing them to express themselves through the colors and placement of their pictures, contribute to conversation, learn and value, turn-taking, and nurture a culture of kindness in your students. Having students able to color both on the group activities through the rainbow chart and worksheets will allow them to express themselves and what they like. What colors they choose is purely up to them, and as a teacher, I shouldn't label the produce with certain colors. The language and literacy domain will be connected through both the conversing about their produce, the rainbow chart, which delegates who does what, the worksheet, which the students are tracing these familiar food words to expand language knowledge. These food words are the same ones that students will be having on their spelling list this week, as well as the book that I will read that will definitely feature the food spelling words. Through visual, auditory, and physical representations, the students will be able to connect their experience to the reading and to their words. The aesthetic domain is the last domain that I'll be going over. The students dabble in this domain through using their five senses to describe and explore the produce within the bowls, producing their own thoughts on them in a safe, no-pressure environment. Through this creative discovery activity and the crafting activity to create their group rainbow charts, students will actively participate in learning about healthy eating choices, allowing the students to choose their colors with the use of marker, pencil, or crayon, as long as it is legible. These are the quotes that I found in my research when I was looking to make this lesson, and these are the ones that are listed here. I found these to be the most helpful when creating the lesson because they help to structure and give me more of a direction for where I wanted the lesson to go. The materials that I used to create the activities for the students were pretty simple to get. I used construction paper, tape, scissors, free printouts that I found online, and of course I had to buy the book. The book can be bought either in-store or online, and I will have a few sources posted at the end to give you a few more options. The students will not need a whole lot of materials. Mostly they will need their scissors, glue sticks or bottles, crayons, colored pencils, markers, or really any writing utensil that they can use that doesn't seep through the paper. It's really more up to the teacher. I'm more laid back about it because I don't see a problem other than when the kids are using markers to write. I tend to draw a line in the sand there. Other than that, students are ready. So how to make the rainbows. I first separated the construction paper into groups of colors because it's easier. Taping the selected color of construction paper together using scissors, cut a half circle shape from the construction paper and progressively make smaller half circles until you get to purple, which is more of a long half oval shape. Lay them on top of each other and glue them together to create the rainbow shape. The worksheet can be found online and printed, and the bowl of produce, I basically bought them from the local market, washed them, and then cut them and put them into separate bowls. So how do the students play? Well, it's more about them being able to manipulate the produce within the bowl, eating it, smelling it, tasting it, seeing it, listening to it, and touching it. It's pretty simple and allows for more self-exploration of the produce. The discussion is more open. If I have to, I will leave a sheet with questions, or I can ask them open-ended questions to talk and describe with their group. The rainbow chart, the students will color the produce, cut it out, paste them onto their rainbows. The worksheet, they can color the produce, draw a line and match the produce to the word, and then trace the word. So how do I keep the students engaged? Well, personally, if I see the students are off task, I will generally try to steer them back on the path. I might have them do some focus or encouragement chants that we learned earlier this week, such as What's on My Plate, which is to the tune of 10 Little Indians. This is a fun little song that students will be able to remember that focuses on the prior lesson about the students' My Plate experience. So any further directions I would give you would be to make sure that students' names are at the top of the paper, because if you're going to use the printouts that I used, really, the line at the top is not there. And as students are making their way to the carpet for the reading activity, you can use the crisscross applesauce song to get students focused in a more positive way without yelling or creating negative tension in the classroom. Encourage students to ask questions and to talk, because most of this group lesson is about conversation and talking with your group. So let's see, for timelines I would be lenient, as these activities involve interactions and exploration, not only with the materials before them, but also interacting and getting to know their peers. I would give the students a good 20 or so minutes to do each activity. I realize that some of the activities are more intensive than others, and so the time limit can be stretched to allow all the students to have ample time to complete each center. Group activities are created to be done in a group, and the book will obviously take longer because we will be discussing the characters, actions, and information within the book. So to wrap up my lesson about nutrition and the benefits of nutrition for my students, I have the students set up the carpet in a circle so everyone can see, and I read a book called Let's Eat. It is a book that eats in a rainbow, which is basically the center of my lesson. It has amazing illustrations I love to show my students, since it keeps them engaged in the reading and also helps to teach about healthy eating. This also dabbles in 2 of the 3 learning styles that I like to have. So how will I assess my students? Mostly I assess them both on perceived effort from watching them and observing how they are learning. What types of conversations did they stir through discussion? Did students apply their 5 senses to learn about the content of the bowl? How well do students recall the information through the worksheet activity? How well did they match the food to words? How well can students identify names of the fruits and veggies? And how well do students know the importance of eating across a rainbow of foods? Truly, I'm looking for the amount of effort a student puts into the activity. Reflection. Reflection is important for any teacher to do after every lesson, and they have to figure out what works for one group because it might not work for another. And so I believe in reflecting on how we did as a class, what needed to happen, what did or didn't happen, and how I can do better next time to better accommodate my students. Learning about what works and what is best for the students is a teacher's main goal. And as I promised, here are some of the printable cutouts or worksheets that I used in my lesson, and some helpful resources for finding the book if you're having trouble. These are free websites, so you don't have to worry about having to pay for them for the printouts. Healthykids.com is another site that I used because it had the printables already made that I had used in the lesson. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.